So it's a battle between me and Knight, who's a guy from the Zat for Xerxes'. He had the Zat for his tournament a while back, which is still going on. It's like the Final Four right now, but yeah. So battle here. First part is self-explanatory, but he sets up Celisfox Swampert, goes into Dust Noir, which we both have. I tried a Will-O-Wisp and it missed, and I was pissed. Because then I gotta waste another turn, and that Shadow Sneak would not have done as much. I could almost get all my health back with the leftovers, and it was just frustrating. So I go out to Umbreon. He Will-O-Wisps that, but I don't care. And basically get lefties back, and just a bunch of. There's so much after turn effects in this battle, but I go for a wish. He earthquakes, which I wasn't really expecting, but I mean that does nothing. So not too worried about that. Get hit by the burn. He's burned, so I'm not really too scared of the Dust Noir right now because I have my Specs Gengar, which I go out to right here, which I led with. I know I can live the Shadow Sneak. I wish I get it back, and it was really crucial for me for this battle to keep Gengar, Bruce Willis, alive. Because he destroyed a ton of stuff in this battle. So he Will-O-Wisp me. Again, not worried because I have no HP and it just doesn't worry me because I'm special. So I go to Umbreon. I could have killed it here, but I predicted the switch. And so, yeah, he goes into Swampert. So I'm ready for that. I go for the Toxic, get it on him. And he roars me out. And it goes into my, it's like a special Rock Polish Metagross, I think. So I switch back out, predicting the Earthquake because it was a favorable matchup for him. So I go into Flygon. He switches out to Starmie. Should have gone for the U-turn. I was kicking myself for that because I didn't. But I go for the Earthquake, which still does a ton. But you know, I knew he was going to be scarfed. But I just didn't have the balls to switch out. So stayed in, hit by the Ice Beam, and there goes my Flygon. So I don't even know what the score is right now. It's 6-5, I think him. So I go back to Umbreon, predicting the switch because Ice Beam will do nothing, and I go for Wish Protect, get all my HP back. And Jirachi goes for Wish, and this Jirachi was kind of like it confused me this battle because I'm pretty sure it's just a support. Now I know, but that it's just a support Rachi that basically is just gonna wish on the Dust Noir and all of his other guys and piss me off with it. But I'm not too worried about it because I know I have counters for it. So I go back out to Gengar to take on Dusk Noir because, yeah, good matchup. So I go for Shadow Ball. Spec Shadow Ball, this actually didn't do, I thought it would do a lot more to Swampert considering specs, but I guess not. So I switch out, go back to Dusk Noir because it can take anything, but he switches out to Caesar, which I did not see coming. And this was interesting. Oh, sorry, no, that's the wrong part. I'm thinking of it a later time, but yeah, he goes back out to Rachi. I was trying to Will-O-Wisp, and right there he saw that I tried to Will-O-Wisp his Caesar, and I Will-O-Wisped his other Pokemon earlier. I can't remember which one, Dust Noir, earlier. So later you'll see what I mean. I'll explain it, but I don't really know. So he goes back. He wishes onto the Swampert, which is just becoming a huge pain at this point. So I need to get rid of the the Jirachi at some point, but I pain split up and I'm fine. So it's a sub pain split Dawn Noir, Dusk Noir. He goes back to Caesar. I'm behind a sub. I went for Seismic Toss, which is gonna do not that great amount, but he goes for Bullet Punch and I go for, I think I went for Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, and I hit. And so I don't really know why he would stay in there and get it burned because that pretty much cripples Caesar completely. So, but I don't know. So I substitute. He gets hit by burn. It's pretty boring. But then he switches out to save from the boring, and I go for Seismic Toss, which is, I think it almost takes it out. Yeah, leaves it with like 5 HP. He goes for Surf, breaks my sub, but I go for, I think, yep, Seismic Toss again, and I kill off the Starmie, which is nice because I don't need a Scarf Starmie running around. So it's 5-5 now. Goes back into Dust Noir. I'm not behind a sub, so I'm going to switch out. Not that he could have done anything to me really, but I'm not worried. So I actually predicted the Will-O-Wisp. So I went into Umbreon to dodge the status effect. Go for Wish. I can't remember if I protected this turn. He gets a crit Earthquake, but I don't care. I mean, it does nothing. What did I do? Did I protect? So much after turn effects. I went for payback. Yeah, and since I'm burned, it's gonna do nothing. But I figured I'd at least try to get some damage on the Dust Noir at that point. But it didn't really work out because he went to over the Wish Rachi, which is just not gonna do anything to that. So he wishes again, and he's gonna heal up his Dust Noir most likely again. But no, this surprised me because I thought he would go to Dust Noir, but he goes to Caesar, and I thought I could take it out with the hidden power. Honestly, I'm sorry, I don't know what the hidden power is at this moment. I'm trying to remember, but I just couldn't remember. So whatever. I was predicting a superpower or some sort of fighting type move. So I went out to Dust Noir and didn't hit me. So that was nice. He switches out to Dust Noir again. I switch out again. And it's just I predict the Will-O-Wisps and then he does it again, and it's just a bunch of predictability right now. But anyway, he continues on. He goes for the burn, but doesn't get it at that time. So I'm just kind of chilling right now with Umbreon because he can't touch me. Or at least with the pokes I've seen so far, he can't touch me. So I go to Bruce Willis because I was a little scared he was going to attack there because Bruce did not have much health, but luckily he didn't, and I am Specs, and I predict the switch back into Dust Noir to heal it, and so I go for the Shadow Ball, the Specs Shadow Ball. He goes back into Rachi because he clearly does not know that I'm Specs. I hit it, and I do a ton of damage, so he must have been predicting a switch there. So I hit it for a ton of damage. Then I stay with the Shadow Ball, and it does a ton to Caesar, kills it. He was shocked at this point. He was in the chat like, what the? Because he was just, he didn't expect it to kill it, because he still doesn't know it's Specs, because it's not that obvious. So he goes out to Zapdos, which I hadn't seen yet, and then it's just like, ugh, I have to kill one of these things too. He's got Swampert, Dust Noir, a Wish Rachi, a Caesar, which didn't do much this battle, but nonetheless, and Zapdos, which is just like, oh, I have to kill all these pokes, plus with Wish support is just a pain. So, yeah, Swampert versus Dust Noir here. He kind of just lets Swampert die, if I recall correctly. I think if it were me, I would have switched out, because knowing that I have Wish support, that's why I went for the sub, because I thought he would switch out and then bring it back in later for Wish support and get back up to health, but apparently not. So anyway, I go back out to Umbreon, and he hits me with a T-Bolt, barely hanging on. Hits me with it again. I had nothing to do at that point, so I go down. Go back into Bruce Willis, and Bruce Willis is ready to fuck some shit up. So I go for the Sludge Bomb. He went for the sub, which was actually a pretty smart play, except for he was faster than me. And I was shocked that he was faster. But I think maybe I'm modest, and that's why he's faster. Not sure, but yeah, so this Zapdos is just taking stuff out. This was a big play. So he goes for the sub there. If he hadn't expecting me to do something else, so if he hadn't done that, see, I live the Heat Wave, which was awesome with 2 HP. Go for the Psychic, almost take the Zapdos out. And then at this point, I was like, oh my god, I didn't take it out. Now it has that much HP. I go into my last Infernape, which is a Swords Dancing Infernape. Go for the Mach Punch, kill that. His only last thing is the Jirachi, and I can Blaze Kick that for the KO. So it was a great game. I really had fun. I replaced a really intense battle for that video. I had a really good battle with Malkin, who my next battle's with, and it was pretty intense. So great game night. We battle a lot, so you'll probably see more of him. And I'll see you next time.